Okay, hello everyone. So welcome to Anyone Python. This is the first day of the first season of Anyone Python. My name is Jeongkyu. I'm a professor of computer science department at the University of Bridgeport. Bridgeport is located in state Connecticut. So if you do not know much about the Connecticut, so my town is nearby Yale University and 1 hour driving distance from New York. Also, this area right now is huge hit by the COVID-19 and one of 4 states in the Northeast, so which is the huge impact on the COVID. So then, because of such a pandemic situation, so when I walk around my neighbor, I got the idea, so I started this program. But I didn't expect such a huge number of the registration. Right now, I receive over 200 students, registered students. So I cannot manage all of them at the same time. So I cut off the 100. So you are one of them. Congratulations. But I'm going to provide the recorded video to all the other students also will be available, hopefully for public, because this is just a free the Python course. And not only just the Python, this is going to deal with something basic of computer science, and it's an informal way. So I do not have any the plan or the schedule or the syllabus. So it's just the going on based on your response or feedback and my feeling, and but mostly we are going to see what is a program language based on the Python and what is a computer and the computer science and such a stuff. So some of the student people ask me what is the textbook reference. I do not have such a thing. Even I'm not going to use any the PPT file. So just I pretty much use the whiteboard like the note which you saw just before, and also mostly I'm going to use the Google. So what you guys need to do is just sit back, relax, and in case there are any activity or if I ask anything, so please be ready for the web browser, and eventually we are going to install a couple of programs, including Python and others. But at the time, you can follow the instruction. And I don't expect any homework or assignment, but in case there is, you can feel free to finish or complete such a homework. Even though you don't want, it's totally fine. Just the main purpose is we'd like to survive the pandemic era. Then the second thing is if you get something idea of what is a computer and what is a computer science, even the little bit know about the programming. That's my expectation and such a thing. So this course is not the high level or the regular course. It's just from the beginning. I'm going to try to my best. And also, I have 2 TA who are going to help me and help you guys. So I'd like to introduce the Unji and the Trinity. So Unji, are you there?
Yeah, hello.
You can introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Unji, and I am a current sophomore at Stanford University. I'm studying computer science, and I'm a TA for their intro course there. And I'm really excited that you guys are going to have a chance to learn computer science while everyone's stuck at home, and I hope you have a good time. If you have any questions during the course, you can use the chat feature on Zoom to either private message me or the other TA Trinity, and we will get back to you, or like put you in a breakout room. We'll figure that out as we go.
Thanks so much. So Trinity, are you there?
Hi, I'm Trinity, and I'm going to be the second TA of this course. I'll be handling most of the younger students, but if you have any questions, you can always just private message us, or actually public message in the group chat, and we're happy to help. I'm a high school junior, and I want to study computer science, and I'm so glad to be able to have this opportunity to kind of teach everyone.
Okay, thanks so much, Trinity. So even though the Anyone Python is the informal way, but I to work together with all of you, so I should have at least a little bit format or the guideline or the policy. So first thing is I already announced you. So if you attended the June meeting the before, you already know some etiquette. So please mute the audio during the lecture, because if you guys are talking each other or there's something background music, I love to hear the music by your sibling but it may bother the other students. So please mute all the time your audio. Also, because it's a limited time, so I'm not going to take any question through the hand raising. So if you do not know your hand, you don't have to worry about. But in case you have any question, please feel free to use the chatting box. Then Unji or the Trinity can answer for your question, because I'm not the multitasking guy, so I cannot answer your question while they're going for the lecture. So it will be messed up. So they will take care of your question during the main lecture. Then as I said, the video is required to identify who you are. So please turn on the video, so you don't have to be shy in this room. So then we can identify who you are. So also please use your full name. So that will be easiest way we can identify the student. Then during the main lecture, like this one, the main classroom, so we can use the chatting box. However, I'm thinking to use the breakout session. If you do not familiar with the Zoom, so Zoom meeting, so we can split into the number of groups. So I'm thinking the 3 groups we are going to test today. I'm not sure whether that works for this class. So that at the end of today's meeting, we are going to test whether the breakout room is working or not. If that works, we are going to use such a breakout room for future class. Otherwise, so forget about that. I will let you guys know. We will see. So during the breakout room, so feel free to ask the question to your TA. So Trinity, Unji, and me will be in charge of the small room. Then at that time, you can ask more detailed question if you have. So we are going to use the main classroom or the breakout room from time to time. So, but today is only the main classroom, but at the end of the class, I'm going to split this class into 3. Then we will see whether it works or not. Then, as I announced through the email, so I'm thinking, so this program as a seasonal program. Excuse me. So seasonal program, which means first season will end June 5th. So it's a 5 weeks program, the 10 episode. And we will see whether this program is helpful for you guys, or so it's nothing. So we can quit, or going forward after the season, the first season, we will see. So first season is guaranteed is 10 meeting. Then, as I mentioned just before, we have more than 200 students who registered this program. So you are one of first 100 students, but for the others, by considering number of attendance today, so it may be possible to invite the other student into this classroom, or otherwise they will receive the recorded video. So I will let all of you, so whether the class will be, because right now we have only the 57 students, so it may be possible to invite all the students in the waiting list. So we will see. So that is the overall overview of the Anyone Python the class, the season 1. So we and also I'm going to from time to time use the screen share, but please do not, right now the student also can share the screen, but because sometimes during the breakout session, you guys need to share the screen. But during the classroom, so in the lecture, please not to share your screen. But in my case, I pretty much use the 2-3 screen interchangeably. So one is for example, mostly this one. So this is the browser. From time to time, I'm going to use the web browser, probably a lot because I'm going to use a lot the Google search and so on. And another screen that I'm going to use is the iPad. So let's turn on. So this is my iPad note. So for whiteboard, I'm going to use this whiteboard. So let's start the first lecture. So this is, even though the title is Anyone Python, so I want to start this class with kind of this guy. Oops, interesting. How somebody can write on the whiteboard. So is it possible? I'm not sure. So please, I don't know who write this one. So it's not mine. So anyway, so let's start with this. So please do not write on. So then from the next meeting, so I'm going to prevent all student to share the screen. So please not to touch on the screen. So which I didn't know that. So let's start our lecture. So what do you think about this? So this is a rectangular. So in this class, so I'm going to use this shape a lot during the Anyone Python class. This is our, from now on, the computer. Or sometimes it's called the server. So first, so because when I saw the computer first time, it was back to the 1982, 1983 at the time. So when I was I think at the time the 6th grade. So my dad gave me as a gift, please not to touch on the whiteboard, which I didn't know that. Please do not share your screen. So that will be helpful for me to go on the lecture. Okay, so when I saw the computer first time, so long time before 1983, 1984, which was called Apple something. So that is like the rectangular shape. That's my first image on computer. So after that, when I draw the computer, so it's like the rectangular. So this is the computer throughout the first season. Then, what is a computer, by the way? So this is our computer. So what is a computer? So before we talk about what is a computer, so what about the teacher? What is the definition of a teacher? So teacher is, as you know, is a person who teach, right? So like that. So we can think about the computer. Computer is a person who computes something, right? So, but definitely the computer is not a person. So if you think about any machine or the device that can compute, so what is the oldest thing? Anyone who has the idea? So you can use the chat. So what is the oldest the device or the material that can compute. So this time that we can use a different thing, right? There's get the help of the Google. So what is the oldest the computer? So there are a lot of things that answer this one, but in my sense, the oldest computer, if the definition of computer is a thing that can compute. So like oops, I misspelled, but the Google helped me. So like this one. So this is one of the oldest the computer, so that can compute the number, something which is called the abacus. So abacus is around 4,500 years ago. So then the Babylonian, or there are a lot, so even China and Korea and Middle East, people try to use such the abacus as the computing the device. So after that, the people try to make the something device or the something which is called the calculator. So machine that can help person to calculate the number very fast and also efficiently. So I do not know how to prevent the people, the student, right? Is there any can prevent the people from writing or doing more from the top? You mean the annotate? Okay, so I think that right now I block people to write something. Okay, so let's go ahead. So this is one of the oldest the computer device. After that, let's go back to the screen share to my okay. So we have a lot of computing devices. So historically, and the 17th century and like the 17th century and the 18th century, we have the kind of the mechanical device. It's like the gear and something the mechanical things by assemble, so we can calculate. So there are a lot of such an example like the Leibniz, the calculator, Pascal calculator. Then still at that time we didn't use electric power. So from after the industrial revolution, like the 19th century and the 20th century, so people can use the power of electricity. Then with the help of electricity, so finally we can have the modernized the computer system. I think that I tried my best to summarize the long time history of the computer in a short time. So we will have a time to see the more the modernized, the modern, the computer system, the history of the computer system later. So that is computer. Then let me ask a question. So what is the most important part of the computer? What is the most important part of the computer? Anyone? You can answer the yes. The Looney answered the CPU, motherboard, yes. And hard drive, GPU, yes. So in my sense, so the most important part of the computer is like the CPU. So what is a CPU? CPU is a central processing unit. Unit means it's a device or the something chip, so unit. Then the central processing is the main processing device. So CPU is the main part of the computer device because computer is a thing that can compute. Who is computing? And CPU can compute, process the data. So CPU is one of the most important part of computer. So what are the example of the CPU? For example, Intel, AMD, and such things are called as the CPU. Then, so CPU is a processing device. Then processing what? Processing what? Processing, I already answered that, it's the data. So the CPU process the data. So this is one of the most important and not easy to understand in computer science. Data is what kind of data? So we have a lot of data, huge amount of data every day, and we use name of data in our even the daily life and the real life. So what is the really data? So if you understand this one, I think that you pretty much understand the computer thing here. So what is the data? So I think the most this is the most frequent question throughout the first season of the N01 Python also. Data in a simple answer will be, it's actually computer can understand 0 or 1, nothing else. So later, maybe the next week, we will see the details about such a data and the data structure, but simply computer is an electric device. Electricity, so take a look at around your room. So you probably find the switch for your room. The switch is turn it on and turn it off. So using such the idea of the turn it on, turn it off, so we can give the signal to the CPU, electric device. It's a 0 or 1. If there's no electricity, it's a 0. If we turn on the switch, then there is electricity, it's a 1. So using 0 or 1, so we can represent a lot of the information, which is called the data. So we will see more details of such a data throughout the N01 Python. So this is the things that the CPU can process. But problem is, what kind of 0 or 1? There are many different ways of to use the 0 or 1. That is actually the main part of computer science and even including programming part. So this is the CPU. What else? What other part of computer in addition to the CPU do you know? Motherboard, RAM, GPU. So SSD, think about this one. So CPU, we just see the CPU can process the data. So where is the data, by the way? So where is it? The CPU can process the data, but there should be data. Where is it? That is actually memory. So memory is the primary storage where the data is stored. The CPU can access the data from memory. So memory is the storage. It's the primary storage. Sometimes it's called one of student already answered, RAM. So it's a different name of the memory. So memory is a storage. So then this memory is very interesting. It's also electric device. It's a storage. It's very fast to access the data. sometimes it's called input and output. So CPU can get the data, pick up the data, then process it, and give back to the memory. Then get another data and process it and store the data. But one of the problem of the memory is small and very expensive. When you purchase your laptop or the cell phone, you definitely need bigger size of memory. But if memory is big, it's expensive. So it's the same thing when we build a computer. So memory is good, it's a fast storage, but so memory is very expensive. So we cannot keep all the data in the memory. Instead, we need to have kind of another bigger size of the storage, which is called, some of the students already answered, it's a secondary storage. Sometimes we can use hard disk drive. Sometimes we can use SSD. If you do not know what is the hard disk drive, what is the SSD, it's totally fine. You don't have to worry about that. As long as you have the money, you can buy the bigger size. But mostly SSD is faster and it's more expensive. But the hard disk drive is cheaper and you can actually have the much bigger size of the storage. So this is the storage. This is a very basic component of the computer architecture. So then, still some of the students not clear what are they. So let me use this kind of the example. So, oops, yes. This is my room. Not computer, this is my room. So then, in my room, I have the main, like this one, this is my desk. So this is my desk where I can do my job, my work, and sometimes writing, even though I can do something lecture on my desk. Desk is the primary, it's the processing area. Then sometimes I need the textbook and I need something information. So I have kind of, on my desk, I have the drawer. So this drawer is next to me. It's very convenient. So I can get the textbook from the drawer or something pencil and the small stuff. But my drawer is not huge. Even though it's convenient to get my stuff, it's not such a big. So I need something additional storage is a cabinet behind. So I have the cabinet. So cabinet is much bigger, but I need to back and forth and get the book, old book or paper. So this is kind of the secondary storage. So when I explain the computer, even later when we talk about the data, it's much easier. Why don't you imagine, so your room. So then, which one is better? So when you manage the room, so my book is here and there, so it's not well organized. It takes some time to get to find my book. But if you store the book very neat and stack up the book, it's easy to find. And I can improve my performance when I work at my room. So it's the same thing in computer. So if you understand the main job of the component and how to organize the book and such a data in our computer, it is much easier to use our computer. So this is the basic component, the architecture of our computer. One more thing. So I said the data is stored the storage. So for example, I download the program, so Zoom program. So Zoom will be here. So Zoom first time storage. So then when I click the Zoom button, so this Zoom CPU cannot read the Zoom from the storage directly. So for example, from my desk, when I find the book from cabinet, so I cannot directly get such a book from the cabinet. Instead, I need to ask somebody else to bring the book from the cabinet to my drawer. Then from the drawer, I can pick up my stuff. Similarly, so when after you download the Zoom, so when you click the Zoom, so this Zoom will be copied, moved to the memory. Then finally, CPU can read the data from your Zoom. Then you are able to communicate, join the meeting, and talk to each other using the Zoom. So at this time, how the data is transferred, how the data is moved around. So in a room, so I can pick up the book and I can pick up my stuff. But what about computer? So CPU cannot actually use their hand to get the data. Instead, there is kind of use the different. So there is like this is called the bus. The bus is, so this is called the bus. Bus is kind of a highway where data is flying away. So it's if you drive from the LA to the San Francisco, so you need to use a highway. So there is a lane, number of lane, then you can drive along the lane. Similarly, when computer transfers such a data, there is kind of the data highway. So this highway, you can using this highway, the bus, you can send the data, you can receive the data. So for example, have you ever heard about the 32-bit computer or 64-bit computer? Have you ever heard about such a thing? Yes. So when you are saying the 64-bit computer, 64-bit computer means there are 64-bit lane to send the data. Which one is faster, 32-bit or the 64-bit? Definitely 64-bit is faster because think about the highway. So we have 10 lanes and we have 20 lanes. Which highway will be faster? 20 lanes, definitely faster. So at the same time, you can send a lot of data. Similarly, if we are using the 64-bit computer, it's like the 64-bit wire. Then we can send the data one by one. At the same time, 64 data will be sent. So between CPU and memory and the storage, like that. So this is a really very simple overview of how computer is organized. Then, what are the examples of such a computer? So in other words, do you think how many computers you have in your room or in your house? How many? 2? 6? I think that you have more than that. So if you have Wi-Fi router at your home, please check how many devices, how many the address are allocated to the computer. Surprisingly, it will be almost the 50 or the 60, such a huge number. Think about you have a Chromecast, you have the Amazon stick and the cell phone, computer, and even TV. So even if you have Alexa, it's also computer. Nowadays, we have really a lot of computer in our daily life. Then whatever the computer you use, any computer has the same organization, the framework. same architecture, like the CPU, memory, and storage. CPU process the data, like your desk or your brain. Memory is the storage where CPU can access the data. And also, if I have a lot of data, memory is not good, big enough, so we can use the extra storage, which is the main storage, hard disk drive or the SSD. So this any computer use this kind of architecture. Then the computer is has the CPU, memory, and storage the architecture. Then it's very similar as your room, or even we can think about yourself, human being. I'm not very good at drawing, so this is a person. So CPU is like our brain, and the memory is some part of memory. We have the storage, like this storage is like the book or the other stuff to store the data. And plus we have a lot of things. We have the computer that is very similar as what we have, which means, so for example, this is called the input and output I/O, like the camera or monitor and the keyboard. So such a thing is similar as what we have, like we have eye, and we have make the sound like the speaker, and even robotics. So human is very similar as the computer. So which means we wanna communicate with such a computer. So then how can we work together with the computer? How can we communicate? Yes, think about if you have a new friend, how can you communicate with a new friend? We need to talk. We need to using the language, like the English, or if you have the foreign friend, so you need to speak the common language. So similarly, when we get familiar with the computer, so computer may not understand fully what we are using, like the English or Korean, Chinese. So instead, the people try to use the computer language, computer own language. Sometimes it's called the programming, the language, or the computer language. So to work with the computer, the people need to know such a computer language or program language. So Python is one of them. So Python is one of the, I think probably the 1,000 or 10,000 different computer languages. Like the human being, like us, how many different languages we have in worldwide? There are so many different languages. Similarly, computer has really a lot of different languages. Among them, in this class, we try to see one of the program languages, which is called the Python. What about the other program languages? Yes, you can use, so for example, Java, you can use the C, or you can use the the language, so to communicate the computer. But one more thing. So actually Python is, do you think the Python is close to the computer or close to the human being? It's not actually for computer itself, it's for us, the human being. So the moon, the Looney, the answer that this Python is very close to the human, language. It's a natural language. So because the reason is that computer actually does not use Python directly. It's more like the human, the natural language. It's called high-level language. High means like the high intelligence. It's a human language. Computer actually does not use such a Python or the human language. Instead, computer use the machine language. It's called the machine language. It's a really stupid language. We cannot understand the machine language itself. It's more like the 0101, 0011, something like that. There is who understand such the very complicated the language. It's called the machine language. However, Python have the Python program language and translate to the machine language. Finally, computer know what these people want. So that is what we are going to do. The using Python throughout the season 1 and season 2 forever, as long as you are using computer and the computer program language. Java, any other program language is the same thing. Okay. So let me start here today's lecture. Instead, I think that this might be the longest lecture in the season 1, because I like to have the lecture and the practice lecture and practice back and forth. But this is the first class, and at least we need to know what we are going to do, which means we need to understand what is a computer. So computer is the device. It's an electric device that computes something, processes something, including what? Including the CPU, memory, and the storage. So CPU process data from where? They're getting the data from memory. So memory is fast, but it's not big. So we store the data in the storage. And also then, to use such a computer stuff, we need to use the program language. That program language is a lot. So for example, in this class, we are going to use the Python. So Python is kind of a translator between us, the human being, and computer stuff. Okay, then let's to do that. Where's the Python, by the way? So we are going to, Python is also a program, computer program. We need to install the program first. Today, we are going to install the Python directly. If you already have, it's okay. But if you do not have Python yet, so please follow the instructions. So let me share my. Please go to the python.org. Please open your browser. Then type this address, the python.org. So python.org. Thank you, Trinity. So python.org. If you are good, so please use, oops, where is it? Okay, later. I think during the sharing, we cannot actually give the thumbs up. Okay. So here, click the download. If you click the download, you can see the download for your operating system. So what is the operating system? Operating system is your computer, like the Windows or the Mac. So in my case, I'm using MacBook, so it shows the Mac OS. If you are using the Windows, so it will show the Windows 8 or Windows 10, like that. It is fine, just use the suggested one. But you don't have to change it. Then click the Python 3.8.2. This is the latest one, newest one. So I'm going to explain later different version of Python, but you can just click if you are using Windows, let me change let me show you this example. I found this YouTube from so you can see this is an example of Windows. So you can click the Python 3.8.2, that is the version number. So you can click it, then it will be downloaded. On MacBook, I will show you later. I think the most of you are using the Windows. Then open the download file, it will show like this. At this time, don't forget to check the add Python 3.8 to pass. Don't forget, please check add Python 3.8 to pass. Please check. Then going to next here. So please check everything. Let me go back. So please check everything and next. And during the advanced option, so you can install or please add a Python environment variable. This one please select. If you are not sure, you can select all of this, but if you do, you don't have to change the location. Just install, then it will be like this. Then there might be no problem. I'm going to back to the macOS. So during please go ahead. Let me. So if you are using macOS, if you click the file, download the file, you will see like this. You can continue and continue and continue and agree and continue and continue. So I already installed. I'm not going to give the permission to this software, but you can give the permission. Then it will be installed like this. Then go back to this one. So please install the Python right now. If you do not have the Python, it will take just the couple of minutes. Please download and install. Then if you already installed, let me show you whether you have the Python or not. So let me open. Okay, so here, if you are using the MacBook, you can search terminal, T-E-R-M-I-N-A-L. You can type the terminal, enter. You don't have to worry about right now. This is just checking whether you have Python or not. Then type Python 3. You can type the Python 3. Enter. If you see this kind of thing, so you already you successfully installed the Python on MacBook. Okay. Then go back to the Not this one. So because I do not have Windows, I found this the video. So if you complete the installation on Windows, you can start the search the Python. You can the search bar type the Python. You will see this kind of the Python 3.8. Then you can click the either or anything. So if you see such a program, so you are ready to use. So you don't have to worry about right now. Just install the Python. Okay. Okay. So let's see how many of you successfully installed the Python. So if you have if you successfully installed the Python, please use the reaction button. Bottom right corner, you have the reaction button. One is the clap, another one is the thumbs up. So please give me the thumbs up if you already have the Python or if you successfully installed the Python. One more time. Let me see how many of you. One more time, why don't you give me the reaction to me? I think the half of you have the Python right now. So after this meeting, so if you do not have the Python or if you couldn't install the Python, please, it's so simple. Going to the python.org website, please click the download, then you can use the suggested one. So most of case is okay. So please use the suggested one and click download. Then follow the instruction. For Windows, the MacBook, you can just click. But for Windows, you can select the custom installation. Then select the option manually. Then the other part is just the next. Then you will be successful. Then by next, we are not going to use the Python next class. We will use the Python from the next week, episode 3. So we have 1 week. During the 1 week, please try to do your best to find a way to install. It's not rocket science, okay? So you can figure out. If you do not know how to install, you eventually find a way, okay? You cannot hear? Can you hear me, Trini? Okay. Somebody says there's no sound. Okay, so that's the all the thing that I prepare. Actually, I didn't prepare a lot the lecture. I just go ahead. So I think that pretty much today is okay. Before we end the lecture, let me try to use the breakout session. Then you can talk to your TA. So this is my guideline to split right now. The class 1 is managed by Trinity. It's the lower the grade. I think up to 7th grade. 8. Did I say 7 or the 8? Trinity. 7? Yeah, 7 or 8. So then the 8 to the high school, 8 to high school, I think. The 8 to the 12th grade is by the Unji, and then the other will be managed by me. So I'm going to use the breakout session. Let me assign. this is even my first time to use the breakout session, so I do not know. Only 2. I think we need to use most of the students are not assigned. So I think that this is the problem. Only few of them. Let me use the different ways. So the breakout session doesn't work as I expected. It should. Let me recreate. I'm going to automatically assign. It has only the 20 participants per room. So we have the 60. Okay. And let me see where's the Unji and Unji is here. Then I'm going to I'm going to join the breakout room 1, and Trinity is the room 2, and Unji is room 3. Trinity is room 3, and me is room 2. Hi, can you hear me? Let me. Okay, so this is the breakout room 1. Can you hear me? I think the Unji should be another room. So I don't think that it works very well. So let me go back to the main room. I'm going to think about the different ways.
I'll be going over the answers now. Starting with 178. So 178 should be 262. 200 should be 310.
Okay, so why don't you back to or student back to the main room? I don't think the breakout room work very well. So I'm going to find a way, the different ways to work together. Okay, so this is please back to let me. Okay, then I'm going to I'm going to test another thing. So we need, from time to time, I'm going to use this polling. So this polling can be used for either a survey or the quiz. So let me. So you may see the window. You can just select your choice. And in some of the students cannot find the poll. And right now, the 50 out of 56 student answer. Okay, let me stop here and poll. So this is today's result. Can you see today's result is 30% really like it, and 50% like it, and wow, there's no don't like it. Thanks so much, and I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, so thanks so much for your attending the first session, the first episode of the season 1 Anyone Python. From the next meeting will be the episode 2 will be the May 8th, the Friday, same time. So I'm going to send out the invitation email for the Zoom link. We are going to use every time the different Zoom link. So please check your email box. So I'm going to send out the day before each class, so you can check the login link and the password. So I'm going to figure out how to manage the breakout session. So please stay tuned. The email. Then thanks so much, and stay safe. I'm going to stay the 5 to 10 minutes. So if you have any question, you can feel free to ask. I'm going to end our recording.